So, you've been training hard for years, eating reasonably clean, and you still look the same as you did 3 years ago. I'm not going to tell you to work harder. I'm not going to tell you you're not disciplined because that's not the issue here. The issue is that you're running a program that was never built for you. Most fitness content, most fitness programs are designed for one person. A young man, lots of free time, no major obligations, fast recovery, high testosterone. That person exists, that person just isn't you right now. And in fact, and this is the big issue with the fitness industry, most men in the gym are in their 30s, 40s, 50s. These are men with careers, real responsibilities, families, and recovery that's not the same as it was 10 years ago. And they're all following an approach for someone completely different. And then being told to just work harder when that doesn't actually work. There are 5 mismatches that are holding you back from your best health, best physique, and faster results. And before I get into it, let me take my jacket off and do a quick little selfish plug. If you guys are men who believe that you have a higher standard and you want to have a uniform that represents you, this entire line, Outliers Only, track jackets, gym wear, is meant for the more refined man, the man who holds himself to a higher standard. Check it out if you believe that you're worthy. I'll have a whole nother video on that. But anyway, the 5 mismatches. Mismatch 1, training volume. Most programs are pushing you to do 5-6 days a week, high volume, high intensity. And for the younger guy with great recovery, no problem, he will see the gains. However, for a man in his 40s, managing stress, real life responsibilities, sleep debt, just real life stuff, the volume is often going to be working against you. More volume and more sessions also means more cortisol, more stress, slower recovery, and less overall actual adaptation. And if you guys forgot, recovery is the number one thing that you need, that everyone needs, but especially after your 30s, 40s, 50s, your recovery is where the growth happens. And if recovery is slower, that means you need more time in between sessions, which is why most guys, I have them work less and get more results. Most guys who come to me are training 5-6 days a week. And most guys who I start training with, I bring them down to 3 days a week. And they're like, bro, is that enough? I was like, let's just give it a try and see. And lo and behold, a couple weeks later, they're like, hey, I just hit a PR. Hey, I just dropped another 5 pounds. Hey, I just hit another PR. Hey, I'm feeling great. It's not about burning your body out. It's about giving your body the specific amount of stimulus it needs to adapt. Now let's talk about mismatch number 2, the calorie model. Most diet advice, I hate diets by the way, most diet advice recommends you to have a certain caloric deficit and just white knuckle through hunger pain. That model will likely burn you out. It's just not sustainable. For men with busy lives, high demanding careers, and just things that they need to manage, having that approach is not ideal. The food you eat, the diets that you participate in needs to be sustainable and simple, not obsessive. The goal isn't exactly restriction. A lot of people think diet and think, oh, I can't eat what I want. It's more about precision. How much can you eat what you want? How can we structure the protein that you need, the carbs and fats and micros that you need to fit within your lifestyle, your preferences, and within a structure and a system that actually works? What you need is to hit your protein, stay within your caloric range, and eat the food you actually like. That's the system. Now let's talk about mismatch number 3, the timeline. Generic fitness culture is built on urgency. You got 7-day challenges, 30-day challenges, 6-week shred. These are great for short-term motivation, but if you already know me, I'm not a big fan of motivation. However, they're not great for long-term sustainability. I am a big fan of getting the result and keeping it for the rest of your life, not 30 days. My approach is for you to have long-term body recomposition with sustainability. Your body takes time to adapt, especially as we get older. The men who get lean and stay lean aren't playing a 30-day game. They're playing a long-term 90 days minimum, 6 months, a year. That's the real scope that needs to take place for you to actually not just get your results, but keep them too. Now for mismatch number 4, recovery being treated as optional. Sleep, stress management, and deload weeks, these aren't for people who can't hang and can't handle it or are soft. This is actually the mechanism that your body needs to grow. If you skip them completely, your training and results will definitely not be what you would want them to be. It'll be much slower, and you might never get your result because you need the recovery. I was just telling someone just the other day, the reason I have guys start with 3 days a week is it really gives their body the time it takes to really recover, like really recover. So assuming you're going to go in and hit the workout, I want you to make sure you have good sleep. We're going to go over how many hours of sleep are you getting? What's your evening routine? How's your stress level? These are things that people don't really talk about in generic programs, but this is the staple for my check-ins, for the approach to your program. I want to know everything that's going on within your life so that we're not doing too much, but making sure that you're getting the appropriate amount of recovery. And mismatch number 5, treating everybody equally. You and I all know we are all different. Everyone's recovery is not the same. And the truth is, every individual has a different history within exercise, has different hormonal levels, different testosterone levels, different injuries. All programs are not the same, and they shouldn't be. And you shouldn't be following any generic program because you are also different from me. And so when you have a program tailored to you, your macros are different, your training stimulus is different, your recovery protocol is different. And so when you have all those things dialed in specifically for you, everything else result-wise becomes way more efficient, way more seamless and predictable, which is really important, especially if you know you like that aspect, because as a high performer, you want to be able to make projections and be able to hit them as well. For example, one of my clients, Chris, was kind of labeled skinny fat, training in the gym for years, not even like a few, like over a decade in the gym, because he knows the right thing to do. I should exercise. I want to achieve this result. And he knew he wasn't going to get it by not going to the gym. So he kept going. And those are the guys I really appreciate, like the dedication to the end result that keeps showing up. But in 90 days, he got to 12% body fat. And I had to remind him, like, all the things that you did before wasn't a waste of time. It was really just making better baseline to build on top of. But just an example as to when you're dialed in, the results are just effortless. So you don't have a discipline problem. You don't have a system problem. You don't have a genetics problem. You have a mismatch problem. The effort you've been putting in is real and it's commendable. Keep going. You just need to push that energy and effort into the right place, in the right container. That's really what changes everything. If you want to become more efficient with your time, if you've been training hard and not seeing the results, if you want to know what the mismatch is for you specifically, DM me the word system on Instagram and I'll take a look at exactly where you're at, what you've been doing, and what needs to take place for you to get the results that you really want. Till next time, let's raise the bar.